Hey there, beautiful people, welcome back. I cannot go further with this project without talking about a few experiences that formed me in the past few years. So in this matter, the video from today will be about moving in a new city alone and starting your life from scratch. Even if this happened in the past, it was a huge part of my forming, and it still is a part of my Say Yes project, because actually this is how I started the project even without knowing that I did. And it's also an experience that started many other experiences that I'm gonna talk about in this series. It's been almost 2 years now since I started a new life. On the 6th of June 2016, I came here in Bucharest with no friends, no family, some money that would last me for 2 or 3 months depending on how much I spent. I had money just to pay my rent for 2 or 3 months, and more importantly, no job. I left everything I loved behind: my beautiful Timișoara, my family, my good friends, everything I was comfortable with and everything I knew until then. Basically everything I was familiar with. I started a new life. Little did I knew how much this experience would actually change me. I had the thought of moving in my head 1 year before actually doing it. I used to come to Bucharest for blogging events from time to time, and it was pretty cool. I liked it. It was such a huge city, an offering city, of course, and the thought of moving here became bigger and bigger for me. It was a good place for a blogger to expand, basically. But of course I had no money and no plans, but more especially no money, because without money you cannot move, you cannot live. Like this, almost a year had passed. But in the meantime, I was still looking on real estate websites, and I was analyzing how much does it cost to rent an apartment in Bucharest and keeping on track with the offers. I was 28 years old and I was in a rut. I felt like nothing is about to happen, like nothing is changing, like my life and my career isn't going anywhere. And it was an age where I was supposed to do that. I was feeling like I was losing myself. I had no promising job, I had no boyfriend, I had basically nothing to keep me there. Even if I absolutely love my city, I love Timișoara to pieces, it's the most beautiful city, and I still think it's so much better than Bucharest, but there's a but. You cannot really take a city only by the way it looks. So yeah, the thought of just moving wasn't such a hard thing in my head, you know. And like this, many days passed by, and until one day I was looking on a website in Romania with apartments to rent, and I actually found something that was cool, was pretty cheap, pretty spacious, and the most important thing, it was very close to the only 2 persons I knew here in Bucharest. Ștefana from the Pretty Blossoms and Camelia, the beauty addict. They were the only 2 souls I knew here, actually. Of course I knew a lot of bloggers from my blogging experience, but I wasn't actually friends with anybody, and of course you cannot rely on them. You cannot just hope you're gonna be friends, and I don't like to, I don't know how to say this. I don't get close to people that easily. This is what I found in the last few years. There has to be a click with people so I can get close to them. I just don't do it for the sake of doing it. So yeah, I had only 2 souls I knew in this city. My parents weren't really okay with the idea of me moving here, but I guess they realized how much I wanted it, and they realized that I was big enough to do it, and they actually supported me in this. And for this I want to thank them a lot, because they were my pillars in this big move I had. Without them I couldn't have done it, because I was having such a crappy salary that I couldn't possibly have done this. They didn't try to stop me even if it hurt them a lot, and instead they supported me, and for that I want to thank them. And like this, 2 weeks after I was prepared and packed to move, saying goodbye to my friends and family was actually one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life. I wasn't prepared for this at all, like at all. I didn't know what was coming to me. Even if I was only 500 kilometers away from them and it wasn't anything too tragic, some people move in other countries, I was just moving in another city, but I knew I wasn't gonna be able to just see them every day. I wasn't just gonna be able to do the daily walks with my best friend. I wasn't gonna be able to go to the mega awesome drum and bass parties from Timișoara in every weekend. So that was pretty hurtful, and it hurt even if I didn't expect it. Like, I almost cried even when I quit my job. I knew those people for 2 years, and it was hard. It was a hard move for me. It still gives me the shiver when I think about it, and I still miss them every day. And I'm so glad when I come home and I get to see them. I basically lost everything I knew, but I had a whole new life in front of me that I was very, very excited about, and that meant the world to me. So here I was in Bucharest with this whole new empty book to fill, right? I have to admit that I loved every moment of decorating my new apartment, making it a home for me. I loved so much the feeling of having your own place, because in Timișoara I didn't have it, because like I said, I had that extra crappy salary that wouldn't allow me to do anything to get independent. So this was a big part of my decision. I just wanted to get completely independent because it was about time. So here I was in my apartment, and of course I had to start searching for a job. So I started. Oh, how I started. I was going to interviews 10 times a week maybe. I think I went to 30-40 interviews, yeah, 30 or 40 interviews since I came here. Like, I changed 3 jobs since then, but yeah, it's been like 30 or 40 interviews, and that's a lot. But that helped me a lot, but that's another subject that I'm gonna talk about. Also, because I was new here and I wanted to learn the city, I wanted to explore it, I decided to go to every interview with public transportation. So this way I was going to learn how not to get lost in this big city that is Bucharest. For every interview I chose a new route, just for this reason, to explore it, to learn it. I was exploring it with big hungry eyes. I love to explore cities, so why not do it in the city I'm gonna live in for God knows how many years. In between interviews I used to go in the parks, I used to stay on a blanket. I used to take a blanket with me actually in my bag and stay there between interviews, eat something, just sit and look at the lake or at the sun or at the sky. It didn't matter. It was just so relaxing for me because of course the interview experiences were very stressing for me because I'm a very sensitive and anxious person. It took me 1 month and a half to actually find something that wasn't at all good to cover my expenses. Like, it covered them, but borderline. But I accepted it because I had no other choice. We have a saying, the carrot was deep in the ass already, so I had to accept that. So I started a new job. I didn't like that job. It wasn't motivating me in any way. It was boring. I didn't have a lot to do. I was not feeling like I was growing, but I had no choice. I had to stay there until I found something better. I was glad I was able to support myself even if it was borderline. My biggest surprise was that they let me go after 1 month. The reason was that they didn't need me after all. They didn't need 3 persons in the marketing department, and that was entirely true. I was fucking bored all day. I didn't have anything to do. But that wasn't my fault, right? They shouldn't just put that job on the market and fuck with somebody's life like that. It was what it was, and here I was again with no job and no money. Ha ha ha. Fun in Bucharest. It took me another month and a half to find another job. In the meantime, I told nobody that I didn't actually have a job. My parents didn't know about it because if they did, they would have insisted in me coming back, and I didn't want to take that possibility. That was failure for me, and I wasn't about to fail. 2 persons knew, my best friends, my 2 best girlfriends. They knew, they supported me so much, and for that I thank them. It was a very hard period for me because I was already out of my savings. I was so borderline. I didn't have any money. I keep saying I didn't have any money. Yes, this was a risky move when you come in a new city without money. I wouldn't take defeat so easily. No. But that's when hell started for me, basically. That's when my life turned in a bad way, let's say. I always thought I was a sensitive person. I always described me like this, but in that period of time I actually discovered that I was a very anxious person. I didn't even actually know what this term means before that. I knew that anxiety existed, but I didn't really comprehend what that actually means. That period of my life taught me what that actually means, because anxiety kicked me big time. And it's normal if you think about it. No money, no job, no healthcare, no one to be there when you need them, no family, no friends. Of course they were on the phone, but it's not the same, you know that. If you are an anxious person to begin with, it's just gonna become even worse. So this was the tricky part for me. The point is, I went through almost 8 months of severe anxiety. I had panic attacks. I got to the point where I turned my anxiety into physical pain. I didn't want to get up in the morning. I didn't want to continue. I just wanted to move back. At that point in my life, I didn't see the point of continuing. I just wanted to get back. I was holding to every little detail to just come back. I actually started a relationship with somebody from Timișoara just to give me a reason to come back. I am so proud of me that I was able to understand what was going on. I was reading a lot about it. I went a lot on Reddit, I went a lot on the internet, I bought books, and I tried to get me out of that. Of course, this is a video I'm planning to make about this subject, and if you want me to, please tell me, because I have a lot to tell you about this. More specifically about health anxiety. So yeah, I was able to read a lot, even if I was in panic mood all the time, and in that way I was able to get out of it a bit, because it took me 8 months, but in the end I can say now that I'm anxiety free, at least for now. I'm still an anxious person and I'm gonna be like this for all my life, but I think that now I'm stable, in a stable part of my life. I am afraid that this might happen again. I know it can happen, it can be triggered by anything, but I think I will know how to tackle it if it's gonna happen again. Of course, in that period of time, my parents visited me. Actually, the first time they visited me, it broke me, like it broke me. When they left, I cried so hard, like I cried all day after they left. And after that, I slept 13 hours. Because I just didn't want to face the reality that I'm not home, that I have nobody, I'm just here alone, I don't have a future, I don't have anything. So it was a very bad part of my life, and I couldn't really talk about it with my parents because I would just scare them, and I didn't want that. Of course, for this I want to thank my 2 good friends, my childhood friend and my good friend Ionela. Rico and Ionela, my 2 friends. They were so supporting, and they were hearing this with me, even if they were far away. We were talking every day. I was telling them what I was feeling. They were there for me, and it helped a lot. That's not the point though. The point is that this experience changed me, and that now, after 1 year and 8 months almost, I can say that I am stronger than ever, that I overcome my fear, and that I'm more independent than ever. And this is the best thing ever. The reason why I'm telling you my story, with the good and the bad, it isn't to scare you. I just want to point out that my experience was life-changing. I became so independent. I understood that the only person I can rely on is actually me. I understood that I can pick myself up from the ground even when I'm at my lowest. I discovered I can get the job I dream of if I really want it. I discovered I can support myself and I can even have some extra money. I discovered I can cook. I discovered I can keep a house together, actually. In the meantime, I found my boyfriend. That is now my boyfriend for 1 year and counting. I discovered how good a healthy relationship can be, even if I had relationships before, actually a 6 years one, but it never felt so right. And I discovered that this good and bad journey was about discovering myself, but all these bad and challenging and hard experiences were just helping me to find myself and become stronger. And for that I wouldn't change a thing. So would I advise you to move in a new city without a job? I don't really know. What I know is that it is worth it to move somewhere else. It doesn't matter if it's a new city, a new country, it just doesn't matter, just do it. You're going to meet a lot of new people, you're gonna make new friends, you're gonna expand your limits, you're gonna learn new things. Imagine that you can learn a new culture if you're moving to a new country. You can learn a new language even. You're gonna see so many new and exciting places. So I guess the bottom line is that you shouldn't live your life in the comfort zone. Be curious, be brave, the good and the bad will be good memories in the... Somebody screaming on the street. So yeah, be curious, be brave, the good and the bad will be good memories in the end. They will just be stuff that you can tell your children. They will form another way to see life that you can teach your children. So this is what I want to do. I want to teach my children when the time will come for me to have them. I want to transmit this joy and thirst for new experiences and for learning new stuff and for just taking the best out of life, even if you have all these bad experiences. But all these bad experiences form who you are right now, in this very moment. And you should be proud of who you are right now, in this very moment. Because you've been through a lot, and I'm sure. So yeah, that was it. I hope I didn't blabber too much. But if I did, I'm not sorry this time. It's a subject I could talk about for hours, because like I said, it's the biggest how should I call it? It's the biggest chapter of my life, the most important chapter of my life, and the most life-changing one. So if you want to do a change, just do it. Just explore, learn every day. Don't live your life in a never-ending boring circle. That's it. If you liked my topic today, if you like my project, if you like what I do here, if you are curious about what I'm gonna do in the future, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And if you have an idea of a say yes video I could do, whatever topic you want, just tell me in the comment section. Big kisses. Bye.